Yeah, it was just a quick question about the first hour dealing range. Really quick. With the first hour dealing range, can you put quadrant levels on it? And if you can, do they react off them, or do they sort of
Yes,
seek a premium or a discount?
yes. All of these things, grading these inefficiencies or ranges, you're always grading them. Whether we're talking about a consolidation, whether we're talking about a gap, everything has to be graded. And when you have all these things speaking to you with what you're looking for price action, you're going to see them being supported by these gradient levels. It's a constant feedback loop of order flow is still on side. You're right where you're supposed to be. If they start showing you signs that they're not, then you're in trouble.
Okay, thank you. Perfect.
So reiterating what you're learning in 2026 right now, when we're talking about the first hour of the dealing range, you're dealing with a range logic. If you're talking about the midpoint of the RTH gap, you're talking about a gap logic. So you are able to deal with within what you're learning, you're able to grasp and conceptualize a range logic in creating an unrealized range for your trade idea or an actual range logic, a time based range. So you're taking actual price based ranges, this first hour of New York, perfect example. You're taking the RTH gap and you're looking at its midpoint and the chance or probability of it's returning. So now you've got the negative space of gaps of an unrealized range, as well as price prints real time, it can't hide from what it needs to do within an hour of itself. And that's the first hour of the session. So Michael is going over very specific for, again, all of the traders who have been here for a long time, and for those of you who are showing up right now, you get to pick what flavor of what works best for you. I mean, trading these gaps are amazing, and that might be all you need. If you don't need the first hour, the first range, like put it on, try it out, test it. You're in a lab. That's what you're meant to do. You're here to learn. So try out the combination of the RTH gap and this first hour. What type of measurements, what type of grading are you getting on your chart? You don't need to ask Michael and I what our thoughts are on these things because we have very clear opinions already. The idea is for you. SHC, you're up. SHC, hermano.
Sí. Mm, um, MB mentioned that if we could like place quadrants on the first hour's dealing range, and I wanted to ask, well, from my understanding, the smaller the range, the least important the octants or the 16s are. So my question is, do the quadrants, like the midpoint, the 0.25 or 0.75 levels, have more influence on price? Like no, without mentioning the range. Like, are they more influential on price?
Yes, as I mentioned, when we're measuring order flow, the lower portion of a range or a PD array, we want to see premium sensitivity there and not show up with bodies going in the upper half of them. When we're bullish, we want to see the upper portion show discount sensitivity. That means no bodies are allowed to be buried in the lower half of that. And it's used for gaps and it's used for PD arrays. The same thing. So that's the only importance that's attributed to them. Otherwise, unless you're utilizing it for framing the context of whether or not this is going to be bullish or bearish, all order flow should be supported by every one of those levels equally, the same. But for timing aspect or supporting a specific viewpoint or a PD array or a gap, when we're bullish, it's the upper half. When we're bearish, it's the lower half.
Yeah, okay. I think what I meant was that does price tend to draw into the, say, the lower quadrant more than like the octant?
Bro, I don't know if that's really even a good
Maybe I'm
question.
not expressing myself well.
Yeah,
I'm just
no, that's not
tripping.
the question you want to ask because that's not kind of very basic and generic.
Well, I can rephrase
Let me
that.
try.
No, but
No, let Michael jump in here. I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. So if you got to jump in, pretty please.
If
nah.
we're really bearish, okay, the lower quadrant level and the lower octant before you get to the lowest portion of that range or gap or PD array, they're going to be the most sensitive because that's the bare minimum if it's going to trade inside of that. As soon as we start getting closer to the midpoint, it's less likely it's going to be as bearish as you want it to be, or in deference to it trading down to the Costco encroachment or halfway point. If we're bullish, we want to see the highest octant or the upper quadrant show sensitivity. In that regard, it is, if you just look at what I was talking about last week, I told you this is a level that if we have any retracements back inside, the suspension blocks lower quadrant should see price keep it at bay. And that's me answering that with a real time example. And it went right up to it to the tick. The body didn't touch it and it fell out and went lower again. So there's conditions, there's instances where, yes, there's greater importance placed on these octants or uh, quadrants, but it's based just simply on that and nothing more.
Okay, thank you.